We're talking Geekpourri up next on Geek Out SA.
Do not attempt to adjust your YouTube video. We control the stream.
And welcome back to Geek Out SA. It's Friday and we're having fun. We're back. It's our third Geekpourri episode that we've had.
I'm sorry, I'm a school teacher.
That says a whole lot.
That's my explanation.
Says a lot.
It is the end of the school year and grades are due and we're trying to clean our rooms and we have 3 more days next week and I'm just really tired, and Vincent and I had a family emergency this week, and so we haven't gotten to bed until like 1 a.m. several nights in a row, and it's been a long week. I do hate doing the show. Please save me. Somebody come help me. No, I'm just kidding. I do love the show. I'm excited. I'm just messing with it because I always like to give him a hard time. He's over there looking at me. I know y'all can see him because y'all can see him on the camera. He's looking at me like, dear God, I'm gonna kill her later. I love you.
So anyway,
honey.
we're talking about Geekpourri, our third episode. So it's been a while since we've done this. It's been a long while since we've done this.
Well, and this was kind of how we used to do the show back in the day. It was like whatever was on our minds, we would just talk about it and rattle on and on about like the things that we had watched and seen and done and picked up or whatever, and that was kind of the show.
Yeah, and then we became a little more structured in that attempt, and but
Thank you, Stuart.
every once in a while we need to go through and kind of like
Word vomit.
get it all out there and just like talk about our stuff, because
Well, sometimes there's not necessarily one category or one theme, or like
Yeah,
there
but
hasn't been something for a week.
there's a lot of stuff happening
That's what I mean.
now.
It doesn't like fit into
Right.
like if I just want to talk about this one thing. And I tend to have like the ADD, the squirrel brain. So a lot of the time it's really hard for me because we're talking about stuff and I'm like gritting my teeth on the inside, and y'all can't see it because I'm like, oh my God, that makes me think of this, and that makes me think of this, and that makes me think, and I can talk about this, and I can talk about, and Vincent, and I can feel Vincent going, shut up, don't you talk about that other stuff, you stay on topic, you do what you're supposed to do.
I don't even need to say anything.
He doesn't even have to tell me anymore. I can hear him in my head. So yeah. So I love these potpourri episodes because then I get to just kind of be me, and I just get to and I didn't even take any sugar yet. Just wait. I'm gonna go get an almond joy
it's
shake.
been a long time that we haven't been really talking about movies, because
which is normally our favorite.
Because we used to go to the movies all the time. And that's not something that's necessarily happened.
Well, I feel like they haven't
recently.
put out things. Sorry.
Well, a lot of
week.
Disney stuff you've gone through, and it's being released on Disney Plus.
Only, and not in the theater.
Yeah, and like Black Widow is supposed to be happening like that as well. What is that, Raya and the Dragon or something like that? That came out.
Which I wasn't even.
It's eventually
going
to come on Disney Plus for free. Well,
Yeah.
not free. You're paying for Disney Plus, but
Yeah. So.
you're not paying for the premium one.
And we have HBO Max, and so they have a lot of the movies on there, and we have Amazon Prime, and so, and a lot of, I don't know, like what in my mind they would be like blockbusters or like really things that we would want to go to the theater and see. The
Right.
theaters haven't really been making those because they know they're not going to see a return on their money, right? Because people aren't going to the theaters and they haven't really figured out how to sell it to these platforms yet and make extra money off of people. It's not quite working for the theaters yet.
Is the theater where they actually make the money?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
is it after the fact?
No, it's at the theater. Yeah. That's why they track the box office openings and stuff. Yeah.
It used to be the theater.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be the theater, but the theater, it's more in it for the theater to make money off of that, because you get the concession stuff.
Theater makes money off concessions only. They don't make money off the movies.
Yeah. Yeah, the studios are counting on the theaters having a big box office return so that they can make back that money. That's what they're counting on. So they haven't found a balance yet of how to get that because people are not going to the theaters. So they haven't been releasing those blockbusters because you don't want to put in millions of dollars into this CGI and directors and fancy actors and everything and then have to go straight to HBO Max or Amazon or whatever. So, and I don't know how Netflix does it. So they're going to have to see how Netflix does it. Although Netflix does have some of the, like, actors and stuff.
Well, just recently, the Armies of the Dead was released in theaters.
Oh, even though it was a Netflix original, it was
They actually had to recompose the Netflix to be like a two-minute thing.
Nice, yeah.
So now it's a big orchestral thing, so they can actually release something.
Yeah, I really think they haven't found the way to make the money that they've been making all these years in the theater. So it's not something that...
I think they're going to have to shift and change.
I think so, but I don't think they know how to yet.
It's not going to be the same as it was.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Yeah,
I know. I love going to the theater. Like, if there's gonna be a theater release of stuff, I want to go there first.
If the movie's any good.
If it's good. If it's not, then I'm fine to watch it on.
So, like, we went to the theater and we saw Nobody. I've been wanting to see Nobody for a long time. And it's same people who did John Wick, and it's kind of in that. Somebody had told me that it's in the John Wick universe.
In the same universe.
Yeah. So, but it's that same premise, right? It's that this guy used to kill people for a living. I'm so sorry. He left to have a family. Something happens, and he's got to go back, you know. But what's cool about this guy is he's so unassuming, unlike Keanu Reeves. Like, I think because I've seen Keanu Reeves in The Matrix and he's done other action stuff, like, Keanu Reeves doesn't seem unassuming, and he has this, like, very...
But it's that actor from Gotta Call Sal or some show like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I never watched that show, so I don't care.
But he doesn't look like he's an assassin.
Right, he's very unassuming. He looks like the boring guy that he's
Mm-hmm.
portraying. He looks like that, right? Which I'm sure makes you a successful assassin, actually, if you think about it. Because if you don't stand out, like, and you blend in, and obviously, right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that was a really, really good movie. Totally worth the theater time that we went to see it. And one of the nice things about going to see it in the theater was that we saw The Fast and the Furious. And I used to not be...
Oh, the trailer for that.
Yeah, I used to not be a Fast and Furious fan, but Vincent's made me watch it so many times at this point that I'm like, okay, I kind of like it, actually. I can't help myself, but I do. And so we were watching the trailer for that, and he's like, I guess where we're going, you know? And I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of want to see it, actually. So that's the kind of stuff we want to see in the theater. It's like, you know, you want to see Fast and the Furious.
But Fast and the Furious has evolved into something different than when it started. The Fast and Furious turned in, started becoming way more techie and way more kind of almost
it's very
superhero-ish
much, like
kind
Mission Impossible kind of almost
Yeah.
type of thing, right? They're kind of like, you know, their secret
So it has
government.
become very geeky.
It actually has, because they have evolved to become like secret allies of the government because they all have a past, and it's kind of like a Suicide Squad meets like Mission Impossible.
But even if you look at like the Tokyo Drift, where the one character had the Hulk minivan with the fist coming out the back,
yeah,
and the foot and stuff. That was one of the things I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting to see the Hulk portrayed in the
like a
Tokyo Drift.
Geek
Yeah.
type movie, yeah.
Come on. Vin Diesel's
Better Call Saul, prequel to Breaking Bad.
Vin Diesel's about as geeky as you can get.
He is geeky.
Actually.
Any person that got their break selling street sharks is.
Well, he's very big into playing D&D.
Mm-hmm.
Vin Diesel, so really cool character. And then he did Pitch Black, so very geeky.
That was a good movie series. Yeah. So there are some things coming up. Like, I really want to see Cruella, and I'm so glad that Disney's releasing that, because one of the reasons I had a fit about Mulan was, and I think one of the reasons I was very negative about Mulan was Disney took that option away from me and they didn't release it in the theater at all. Mm-hmm. Even though it was midst of big COVID, some of the theaters were still open and they were social distancing and they were taking protocols. Disney could have released it in the theater and given those of us who wanted the option. I think that's what most of us want as a consumer, is give me a few options. Because I don't think it costs Disney anything to let the theaters release it. I know they wanted to try this, like spend the extra $40 and buy this movie. And some people wanted to do that, and I was okay with it back then when I felt like they were giving those of us the option. Because some people do want to stay home. You have a family of 5 or you have little bitty kids and you want to stay home and you don't want them running around and you want to pause it and go to the bathroom or whatever.
And if you have a bunch of kids and then to get them popcorn and candy and drinks and stuff, when you come out, you're paying like $150 to $200 easy.
Right. So you pay $40, go to the store and get some snacks, have a family night, put some blankets, order a pizza or whatever. You have a nice family night. I get that. Like, we've been there, we've had little bitty kids, like we get that. But don't take the option away for those of us who want to go to the theater. Like, I want to go to the theater. You're still going to make money off me. I'm going to go to the theater.
Yeah, I don't have itty bitty kids in the house anymore, so.
Right. And some people just want to be out, and some people want to see it on the theater. But I need them to get back to a better caliber of storytelling if they want us to go back to the theater.
Yeah.
Because, I'm so sorry, y'all. Because I was really looking forward to Kong versus Godzilla. Because one of the complaints I had at the beginning with the Godzilla franchise was we weren't really getting to see enough of Godzilla. It was this idea of Godzilla, and you'd see like parts of Godzilla when they first started doing this new Godzilla thing, and I was like I just want to see Godzilla. That's the whole point. So then
it was Kong too.
Well, right. But Kong, you get to see Kong. I didn't have a lot of complaints with the Kong movies. They were okay. I don't think there's anything like the original, and maybe that's because that's what I grew up with, and there was just something about that. The Kong movies were okay. I don't know. He doesn't do it for me as much as like Godzilla, Kong's cool, but in that one premise of that very first original movie, great, cool, he escapes everything, okay.
I think Kong was much cooler in this one.
So in this one he was, but I was just disappointed that, like, if they were going to make it Kong versus Godzilla, and then Kong and Godzilla are like, Batman and Superman, and they love each other at the end, and they become besties over no stupid reason whatsoever, that's fine, but then don't have any of the people, because the people were pointless. Like, don't have the people. You could have like not paid for any of these actors or whatever, and just like given us a story, and the people could have been little blips in there or whatever, and then just show us even more of Kong and Godzilla.
It's like when you want to see a good Alien versus Predator movie. You want to see aliens and predators and not the stupid humans.
Right. Yeah, I just want to see the aliens and the predators, and like the humans can be little blips in the background,
they
like
can be just cannon fodder to be squished.
Yeah, they can be squished, or they can put the sword forward a little.
Because I got to watch Alien versus Predator Requiem, and all of these side people in Requiem, I was like, show me the Predator, show me the aliens.
Right.
I want to see that.
Right, that's what we want to see. So when you get to a movie like that, or you get to a movie like Kong versus Godzilla, like, okay, I don't care about the people. Okay, the people like them and they're friends and they're trying to like do all this stuff, and And they didn't even like seem to write well for them. Like they didn't even care about them either. So I was like, why did you even spend all this time on them? We could have had more time.
They tried to combine and build the characters from both the Godzilla and the Kong movie and integrate them. And it just took them too long to do that.
Yeah.
Because they had, in order to do that, they had to bring the characters together
Right.
from both movies.
Right.
So in order to do that, that took way too long. So maybe if they did another one,
I just felt like they
don't know.
didn't do it well. You know, we waited for a long time for this, and there was a lot of hype. And I think that's what I'm getting tired of, is there's all this hype, and like the best parts of the movie, or the only parts of the movie that are worth watching, you see in the trailer. And you're like, well, I could have just watched a 2-minute trailer and been done.
no, we didn't see that ending in the trailer.
No, but
Because that ending,
I don't remember how it ended.
the
to be
very
honest.
the
Like,
the
it was
end
that
of
bad.
the end battle was epic.
Was it?
Yeah.
I think I fell asleep. Like it wasn't that epic.
No, we woke. That's when I woke
When we
up.
woke back up. So I was
That's
like,
when
I
I
know we were
woke up.
falling asleep.
You watched the whole thing. I fell asleep during the boring parts.
Yeah.
It was so good, nobody remembers the end.
I know. I'm like, I don't even remember what
There's
happened.
no way you
What
don't
happened?
remember there. Remember he gets the axe thing that gets
Oh,
like
yeah, 'cause
electrified
that was
and
real
then
stupid.
It was
That
cool.
whole thing was stupid.
It was awesome. It was epic.
Going
Well, that-
to the center of the earth and
They
the,
had to give him something, or else Godzilla would have squished him within 2 seconds, and that movie would have ended. It would have been like Godzilla versus Bambi.
yeah. I didn't like. I don't know. The whole thing was stupid. I hated it. It was awful.
Thanks, Colleen.
Sorry.
Colleen hates everything. Vince loves everything.
I know, right? That's how it is.
I actually need to watch it again to appreciate it.
Okay, I'll watch it again with you when we're not so sleepy, and maybe I'll like tolerate it.
I haven't even seen it, so.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh, well, guess what we're watching tonight? We're gonna watch it with you, Stuart,
So you can fall asleep?
so I can fall asleep. I'll stay awake. I'll be good. I will try. Well, I'm gonna go. Oh, I'm gonna get an Almond Joy shake because it's National Burger Day.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to Burger Boy.
Well, talking about
Burger Boy.
Burger Boy. Let's go.
watching stuff together, we've been watching The Bad Batch.
Cause we are friends. Like, actually, we like
We
Stuart.
are?
I know.
No way.
And I have to stay here
Did
with
you like my
Vince
segue?
because I'm married to him. Yeah, it was good.
That was good.
And
fit it in
so
well.
on Fridays after the show, we spend a little friend time hanging out. And so one of the things we do during friend time is we watch TV because that's what we all like to do.
Yes, and because we can't go anywhere.
Because we couldn't go anywhere or do anything. We've started to do a couple of things together, but mostly it's watching stuff. So we watch The Bad Batch. So if you're watching The Bad Batch, awesome. If you're not, we may spoil a couple of things, so maybe just pause or jump over this section really quickly.
Just watch it all. It's awesome.
We'll try to be obscure. We try to be obscure so that
Yeah.
we don't like ruin it too much. However, on the most recent episode of The Bad Batch, we get a tie into The Mandalorian. So we're gonna see how they're gonna try to connect all of these worlds together, which I'm really loving. That we're getting these segues, like movie, cartoons, shows, cartoons. Like, I like that they're tying
But
it all
let's
together.
explain what The Bad Batch is, because
Oh, okay, go
we've
for
never
it.
talked about it.
No,
So,
but I figure if people...
The
like,
Bad
if you're a
Batch
geek-
came when the Clone Wars came back. And they came back after they had been on hiatus for like forever. So when Disney Plus came in, they did a season of the Clone Wars and they introduced the Bad Batch. And what the Bad Batch are they're clones that have been enhanced.
They're genetically mutated clones. Yeah, they tried to enhance them, but in the enhancement process, the genetic mutation gives them certain quirks. So,
But not just quirks, but they also have like enhancements.
well, right, they do have the genetic enhancements that the people were trying to make, and I can't think off the top of my head what those tall, skinny people are called that do the cloning. But anyway, they do have those, but they also have these like attitudes and idiosyncratic nature, and they don't follow Order 66, and so they're the Bad Batch because they're the batch of clones that like went
Rogue.
went awry. They didn't go right.
Yeah.
So when we start the season, Palpatine has just called for Order 66. And so the Bad Batch is like confused because they're like, what the heck? Why are we turning on these Jedi?
But during that same thing, one of the Jedi was Kanan Jarrus, but he went by his...
Well, he was a Padawan at the time.
He was a Padawan at the time. He was a child.
Yep. And Vince was super excited because he could tell from his lightsaber. Okay, Vince has like a mega lightsaber thing. Like I can't tell the characters by their lightsabers. That's not my thing. Like I think lightsabers are cool, but that's not my jam. Like the way it's your jam. So he was so excited, and he's like, "Do you know who that is? Do you know who that is?" And I'm like, "I don't know who that is. Like I don't know what you're talking about." Like he's like, "Look at his lightsaber," and I'm like, "I'm looking at it. Like I don't get it. Like I'm trying to figure out who it is." So
and I was like, "Look."
I know. And then he's got the figure in the living room. He's like, Kanan Jarrus. I was like, oh my god. So then we're getting
and my
that.
lightsaber too.
So we're getting that tie together from the very first episode. We're getting that tie to Rebels. So that was really great because they're already giving us these connections, right?
Kaminoans.
Who?
That's the name of the tall, lanky aliens.
Thank you. I'm terrible with remembering stuff, especially when
Thank you,
done.
Mike.
So Vince is like all super hype and excited, and then I like it because now we get this connection to Rebels, right? So we're getting to see some of this from him, and we might get to see him some more.
So they're connecting like literally everything.
You have to watch though. They're not screaming it out to you, which I like.
They weren't screaming it out with him.
You have to pay attention.
Because he's not called Kanan Jarrus there.
Right. You have to be paying attention.
Because you don't find out until the end of Rebels that his name is Doom.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So that was cool. And they help him escape. So, and then we get further along in the episodes, which I've been really enjoying. And I enjoy the animation too. I really have to like the animation of something because I like the animation for this. I liked Rebels, and then we tried to watch the last one that they did. Resistance.
Resistance,
right?
The Resistance.
And I hated the animation,
that was
and
horrible.
I couldn't get into it. So the animation in the Bad Batch.
Not that I hate the animation. It was just it wasn't geared for. It was geared for like teenagers or something like that.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I hated the animation. I didn't like it. It was too CGI-ish. I don't know. There was something like brassy. I don't know. I didn't like it. It was kind of jarring for me. I just didn't like it. I couldn't get into it because I didn't really like the animation. So the Bad Batch has that same like Clone Wars feel. So you don't feel like you've really left, right? You feel like you're just kind of continuing the story. You get to keep going.
Had they did it in that style, I still don't think
we would have liked Resistance.
I would have liked Resistance.
So then in this newest episode of The Bad Batch, we have a character from The Mandalorian that gets introduced to us, again, before we're in the time of The Mandalorian, right? And I recognized her right away from her voice because I kind of have a girl crush on Ming-Na, and so I totally love her. And then I was like looking at her outfit, and I was like, I think that is who I think that is. And then I'm telling him, is that? And he's like, I don't think that is. Like, no, that's a, like, no? And then we're like watching it a little bit longer, and then Vince is like, no, maybe yes. Like, I think maybe yes. So then we get to
because they're not screaming it out.
Right, because they're not screaming it out. So you've got to
because they're not saying, "Oh, this is my name."
Right.
And this is who I am.
And you've got to put the pieces together.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those. I'm not really good with Star Wars with like watching everything and remembering who everybody's name is. Like, I remember a character by like their actions, the way they dress, what they do. I don't necessarily remember their name. I'll be like, you know that dude in the episode and he did that or whatever. Like, I don't necessarily remember their names. Sorry, my bad. So like when I saw her, I didn't remember what her name was in The Mandalorian, but I was like, I'm telling you, that's who it is. Like, I can tell by her voice. I can tell by the way they've stylized her and everything. Because this is one thing I'll tell you that they're doing a really good job of, and they did it with Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. They did it doing the reverse and going Mandalorian back to cartoon. They're paying attention to detail, to mannerisms, to inflection in voice. You know, everything about that. They're paying attention to those
even
details.
within the movies, you get Ahsoka from the Clone Wars. You get her voice talking to Rey at the end of the last movie. You get Kanan Jarrus in there as well. So it's like they're bringing everything together, and it's just, I think it's awesome. If they redo the last two movies, I'd be fine with that too.
What do you mean redid the last two?
Well, they're talking about redoing the last two movies.
Why?
Because they suck.
I loved them. I just watched them all the other day.
Yeah. Well, they were good, but there was some things in the last movie that they didn't touch on, that they shot a lot of stuff for, that would have been even more epic.
Oh, I didn't think they sucked. I really liked them. They didn't suck.
I think what they were trying to do, and they did a bad job of it, is they're trying to just like introduce this new crew, and then, well, they killed off the old crew.
Well, that's what they were supposed to do. That's what happens with time. The old passes on the torch to the new. That's what happens.
But us super fans really wanted to see Luke and see what they, because what they did in The Mandalorian by bringing Luke right at the end to save the day, that's what the demographic that was in love with Star Wars wanted to see.
But we got to see Luke. We just got to see him go through a different journey. He was there the whole time.
No, he was there, but he wasn't there to save the day.
Just there to suck down some food milk and be disgusting.
He's not supposed to be there to save the day. That's the whole point.
He was there to be his and saving them was just a distraction.
That's the whole point.
For them to get away.
What he's saying is the Force doesn't belong to just the Jedi. That's the whole point. So then that those of us that are out here who aren't Jedi feel like we can be part of the Force too. That makes it more accessible to all of us.
It's too accessible. Just kidding.
Not everybody's going to be Force sensitive though. Not everybody's going to be good with the Force. Not everybody's going to be Rey. Not everybody's going to be Luke, right?
Steve says, "Hey guys, happy Friday." My son Jasper says, "Hi." Hi, Jasper.
Hi, Jasper. Hi, Steve. I don't know. I don't know why you guys all think the last Star Wars movie ruined
No.
Star Wars.
I don't think it ruined Star Wars. I don't think that. I think it could have been.
He does.
I think it could have been better.
It could have been a lot better.
I think it could have been better.
I loved it. I loved everything about it. I watch them all the time. I loved those three so much.
Did I think that she was gonna be Palpatine's granddaughter? I thought she was gonna be related. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
From the first movie, I was like,
yeah, you did say that from the get-go.
that's Palpatine's something.
But then being like a dyad in the Force, and like, you know, when she puts the saber behind her and drops it and Ben gets it, and getting to see Ben Solo.
Yeah.
Because Ben Solo is different than Kylo Ren. But getting to see him be both of those characters and being torn, and that same story of the forces in all of us, and we all have bad and we all have good and we all have capabilities to drop the bad and go with the good.
See, but they didn't show that same thing within Rey, which if they released the stuff that she shot, they would have shown that duality within Rey as well.
We see it because we see her succumb sometimes to her anger, and we see it when Luke is teaching her, and Luke freaks out because she goes right to that dark place.
But what people wanted to see is like in the Jedi lore, when it comes to, in the beginning there was like it was like two forces and two people that were super strong with the Force, one light, one dark.
Mm-hmm.
And as one got stronger, so did the other. They kind of touched on that, but what they were supposed to be, they were supposed to be the reiteration of those two, but they didn't. They kind of like moved away with that because they were always changing that and changing it at the last minute, because they kept saying that they were going back and forth on whose Rey's parents were.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was still going on that it could have been Ben's.
I mean, I hate to say it, I hate to throw this out there, but I think everybody who's like, oh,
Or
these
Obi-Wan,
movies
yeah.
suck or whatever, that's
They don't suck.
because
I don't think they
that's
suck.
because they're like,
He-
oh, I want
Stuart
Luke,
thinks they suck,
I
but
want Luke to save the day because Luke's the only Jedi who's cool enough and, you know, raise a chick.
he should have had a bigger part than he did.
I didn't want Luke to save the day. I just want Rey to decimate everybody and become the next big evil. And Finn to do something. And be more than what
Yes, Finn should have
been more. I agree.
Finn should have been more
Because
than
they-
what he
That
was.
he was
Rose should have been
wasted character.
They touched on him
Rose should
being
have been
Force
more
sensitive.
than she was.
Yeah.
She was. It was like the third movie.
I
It
guess
was
in
like
my-
you don't
so-
even need to be in the movie in the third one.
So I guess in my head, when I play through these movies, I play out all these things that these characters are doing elsewhere when other things are happening. And so in my head, these characters have all these rich, full lives, and I see the fulfillment of these characters in my mind's eye.
Writing your own script.
I do. That's what I do.
She does that for books
I
too.
do it for books too. It's
was
just
like,
what I
"No,
do.
It didn't happen that way.
And I'm like, no, it really did. And I really actually
No.
think it did. And people are telling me that it didn't. But so when I watch movies and I connect to the characters, they have this whole rich thing going on in my head that I think that everybody else sees when they're watching the movies, and people don't see it. And then like I'll describe the movie and people are like, what movie did you like? And I'm like, yeah, didn't you get from like this little nuance, this whole like side arc story? And they're like, no, you know, so that may be why I connected to it so much more. But I made Vincent watch it just like last weekend. We watched all three of them again, back to back.
Anyway,
So-
you've got completely off topic.
Oh.
Bad Batch.
Oh yeah, the Bad Batch. I'm sorry.
Well, we'll wrap it up and move on to something else. Bad Batch is just a bunch of New Zealanders talking about some stuff, and there's a kid, and we can get rid of the kid.
He hates it too. He hates it.
No, I mean it's okay, but
Is
we
it
could do
that
it.
Australian New
I
Zealand
think
thing?
That's what it is.
Yeah, it is. It's a thing with Stuart.
Yeah.
He's like got all the haterade for the Bad Batch. So since we're talking about like things on like streaming services, we jumped away from movies, which I wasn't ready for you to jump away from movies. We didn't talk about Army of the Dead, because that was a big movie that we saw.
Big mess.
That movie was a big mess. That I was so
It
hyped.
was so hyped
I was so hyped.
compared
My
to
friend,
what it became.
like showed us the trailer and we were so hyped. Zombie Tiger, like we were super hyped for this thing. It was just trash.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was trash. It was.
No, it was trash.
It was. They tried too much, and there was some good stuff in there, and some stuff that they could have used, but there was so much crap in there because I've watched it twice now, and there's so much. There's aliens. There's cyborgs. There's time travel. There's all this stuff whacked in there. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, it was a hot
The one
mess.
thing that upset me was the daughter,
Yeah, she was.
because she killed everybody.
Yeah,
It was because of her that
just by
everybody
being
died.
an annoying brat who wouldn't listen to her parent. Yeah. For no good reason,
No.
because nothing came of it. Except that in the end it gets out of Las Vegas and now everybody's gonna die. So like, hey, why not?
There's cool zombie killing in there.
But they had
Cyborgs.
Zombie
such,
cyborgs.
Zombie cyborgs.
They had such a good opportunity to run with a really good premise of this sentient zombie type soldier that had been created that then could create other sentient type zombies. Like, they could have really gone somewhere with that. And it was this like zombie hyena dog weird pack vibe, and they did all this weird like stuff, and I was like you're trying to be too weird. Like, you could have, I don't know, it was like they were trying too hard. That movie seemed like it was trying too hard.
It was like a weird 28 Days Later sci-fi edition.
I guess. I don't even know how to explain it. I was just so disappointed because I thought this is going to be really great. And I like Batista. And
he did a good job.
And I thought he did a good job. I won't give
did.
him a hard time. He did a good job with what he was given.
It's so weird that so many of these wrestlers have become such great actors. I mean, they act all the time.
Right.
But when they're doing wrestling, they're not great actors.
Right, they're not doing lines or anything,
No.
right? They're kind of overacting and stuff.
Oh no, they are doing lines.
Oh, well, yeah, some of it. Yeah, I forgot that they have to do the whole
Yeah,
speeches
Now
and-
it's more promo than wrestling.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just it was a mess, and the more you watch it, the bigger a mess, and you go, what was that?
You're like, why?
But
What?
again, there's more. There's like a prequel and an anime series, and they supposedly have another 3 in the pipeline or something like that. And I kind of expected better. 'Cause
Well, I figured as the way it ended that we were going to get more, unfortunately. You know, and Train to Busan was so good. Like,
Yes,
so
that is-
good. And I even actually liked the second one. Did you ever watch the second one,
the
Stuart?
Peninsula.
The
I haven't
Peninsula.
seen- I haven't seen that one, but I've seen the animated prequel.
Oh.
Have you seen that?
So we went and saw the Peninsula actually in theaters because we liked Train to Busan with you so much. And I thought that was good.
Yeah.
And it's just the right level of like letting enough characters live because you really like them, because they have to remember that we're humans and we like other humans to live. Like, we like to see that human spirit, right? And people live. But we want to see some of them die because that's the whole point of it. So like,
Yeah, but in this movie is like you didn't want her to live.
right, and you didn't want him to die. And
Yeah.
yet,
Wow. We've got 3 minutes left.
oh, I'm
And
sorry.
talking about dying and things that are on HBO, Mortal Kombat.
Oh dear God. We're gonna do a whole show about Mortal Kombat. Just you were. I can't even in 3 minutes talk about the trash that was Mortal Kombat.
It's
So
not trashy. It was better than the second. It was better than
It
Mortal
was
Kombat.
better than Annihilation.
And better than Annihilation.
It just wasn't as good as the first Mortal Kombat.
Well, I will say, if you see the trailer for it, or you can see the first 5 minutes online. Just watch the 5 minutes and just be a Colleen and fill it in from there, because the first 5 minutes is awesome.
right, you just watch that and then you fill in the rest of the story and you go, oh my God, that was a really good movie.
Stuart's main issue is with Kano, because that's his favorite character to play on Mortal Kombat. And if they don't get him right,
No, actually, the guy that played Kano was fine. It was about the most interesting thing that happened in that movie.
yeah.
If he wasn't there, the movie would have been really bad.
But then we got better representation of what happens in the game for the powers.
Yes and no.
Ish.
Ish.
We'll have an episode about that.
There was for a movie titled Mortal Kombat, there was no Mortal Kombat. The next one will be maybe the Mortal Kombat.
Well, but I think this was set up as a prequel.
I don't know.
It was set up as a prequel to actually get into the Mortal Kombat, because there's already one in the works. Because at the end of that one, you get a little preview of who they're going to look for next.
Only because everybody said, "What the hell? Who's this other character? We hate him."
Who's this guy? We don't like this guy.
They explained it
No, it was dumb.
okay.
It was dumb. No, it was completely dumb.
I
Vincent
liked
likes
it.
everything.
No,
I liked it.
It was dumb. It was dumb because
I think it could have been done better.
was done because Sub-Zero was wiping out his lineage, and then he goes and kidnaps his daughter. Doesn't kill her. No, we'll just leave her alone. And then we'll go back and get the guy whose special move is he can get beat up.
It's pretty much the extent of that movie. Yep.
But there's some cool blood.
Yeah, there's some cool effects in that movie. I will give it that.
I just like the fact that they kind of explain that it's not inherent that you have this stuff. You have to like work it and bring it out of yourself to have this power at that time.
That was almost okay.
Yeah.
I just like that for several days afterwards, Vincent just goes around all the time and something happens and he's all, Mortal Kombat!
Get over here.
Get over here!
Very cool, very cool. So we talked about a Geek Pourri.
It got,
Geek
got sidetracked really badly.
I'm sorry. I'm very passionate about it. I love it. I'm sorry.
It was sidetracked, but it kind of was in there at the same time because we're seeing how it's all being pulled together.
You said I get to be sidetracked during Geek Pourri. It's my one time that I get to be me.
We could have a whole show and just by the end of it be a completely different show.
Completely different place, and I like it. So.
But thanks for checking us out. I really appreciate it. If you haven't clicked on the subscribe button, click on that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so the next time we go live, you'll know. I'm Vince.
I'm Colleen, and that's Stuart.
Geek out, SA.
We'll be right back.